And we're recording.
Good evening, everyone. I guess everyone's aware that last week we had a show that was pretty controversial. And it appears that we learned a lot of things after the show that we have to point out in order to clarify some aspects that were not discussed. So it seems that in what we spoke about, we've learned that the topic between the parties, it turned out that there was a lack of communication between everyone involved. And we had a show on it, and we were missing a lot of the information. After the show, we were contacted by others involved who wanted us to express their concerns, and they
come just to clarify with us.
They came to us in a very adult and appropriate manner. And the first thing I want to point out is I take all the blame for this show, for the topic, and for the way it was conducted. Since the show has aired, I have been in contact with some folks, some very prominent folks in the metal detecting field. I called them and asked them for advice. And I have since found out that the Diggett, Virginia hunt has been held in this manner for as many years as they've had the hunt. And it is past practice that they will designate an area. And I was under the wrong impression. I believed that the area was a large area where they were saying no one could dig this area, which turned out not to be true. From what I understand, in many hunts, not just this one, if a person finds an area that might yield further finds, a group of people will designate an area. And I found out it's only like a 5 by 5 foot area. Now I'm picturing this large area where they're telling, oh no, we can't have anyone hunt this. Well, it's true. And I was brought to light to me by people that were not involved in this. So they will designate,
but no DIV.
But this happens in a lot of events, right. And they will designate an area, and the rules will be as such. We all dig, we all share the proceeds. That's the basic gist of it. But that was something that I honestly did not believe occurred, and that was part of why I conducted the show the way it did. So in finding that out, like I said, we've come to the conclusion that neither party was at fault. And the parties that we kind of talked about, the people at the event, did not deserve the, I guess I'll say, finger pointing that I may have done, or the accusations that I may have made were incorrect. And I believe that, we need to bring this to light, that that there were two parts of the story. Both sides needed to be heard. I appreciate and thank the other parties that were involved for their adult candor in the matter.
Yeah. It was the response that we got from folks over there was very adult, very, very good.
Very adult, yeah. And I guess Frank, Ron, and I, what people don't understand is what these folks didn't understand is how we do this show. The first thing I want to say is none of what was spoken about had anything to do with Ron. Ron, as you know, most of the time, and it's not funny. I'm not trying to be funny, but we don't plan our show. We don't look, and that was a part of it that, we didn't really research what we should have before the show, because our show is not scripted. We don't talk about what we're going to talk about on the show before. Therefore, Ronnie was caught off guard. Ronnie was an innocent bystander, we'll say. So I take full blame for the topic, and not doing my full-fledged research, I guess, in advance. I guess that's what we would say in that. You know what I mean? And like I said, the parties involved are some really, turns out there's some really nice people. And the one thing we needed to do was we needed to live up to our statements of, hey, feel free to contact us. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely. We literally wanted to have them on, and hopefully in the future we will have these guys on. The only thing I wanted to say was it came to my attention. Suddenly we had 100 people trying to join the page at one time, and I apologize for blocking these people. But in the past, when that happens, we do that so we don't have turmoil breaking out on the page.
Turmoil, infighting, accusation, name call. We didn't want name calling.
But as soon as I talked to a couple of these people, we let them all in, and lo and behold, you know what? It was wonderful. They wanted to see the video. They would appreciate their side of the story, the way that dig is conducted. And I was contacted by a couple of guys from that dig, but one in particular who knows for years I've run radar on privy pits for people. And he told me that basically that's what you have there. It's basically a pit. And if you guys who dig privy pits know, when you go down there and you excavate stuff from these privy pits, it's kind of an accumulative thing. It gets kind of put into a pot, and then it gets shared between the entire group. Nobody's dropping down in a privy pit and grabbing something and keeping it for themselves, or there's no hierarchy of who gets what. It's shared. And I was told that's basically how these pits are run.
I was enlightened.
Know that, and we should have.
I was enlightened, at first, because my perception was different than what really happens. And once I found out what really happens, I'm like, now I get it. Now I understand.
Absolutely.
And, and I even told Ron, I said, this is the reason is I'm still new to detecting. I've been in this only certain years,
Well, unless you're involved in that type of dig, and we've been involved in a million digs, but never at a DIV. And
right.
I ran radar on privy pits. I never dug a privy pit, but that's how a lot of these hunts are run. And we did not know that. And for that, we apologize for not getting that side of the story. We honestly didn't realize there was another side till now.
And I didn't know any of these people involved, but I did talk to some of the, once I did, and I talked to the hierarchy of that event. They came to me in a very adult manner, and they, and we hashed it out, and we just want to put this all behind us and put it down as a learning experience. That's all.
At the end of the day, our due diligence was to get both sides of the story. Not that any one side is wrong. If somebody perceives something some way, that's how they perceive it. We didn't look at the other side. We didn't talk to those people. And since then, a bunch of them have talked to us, and I appreciate.
Yep. And we've learned a lot.
A very adult way of doing it. It was great, and I really, really appreciate
We've learned a lot. And I'm all about the truth and doing the right thing. So that's why this broadcast is coming out. There will be no commenting on this broadcast.
No.
That's why we're videotaping the broadcast. We're not going to allow comments. We want this to be put in the past. We want to welcome any of those members of that community onto our page. Come in, enjoy it. If you like it, stick around. We have a funny way of doing things around here, and a lot of it's, we're goofballs. We like to goof around. We like to joke around.
Some of these guys have already started posting finds. It's been good. It's been a really good experience with these guys.
So you folks are more than welcome to stay on the page. If not, whatever. But we're going to try and do our due diligence from now on, learning after this circumstance.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely different ways of doing things in some of these hunts that we honestly weren't aware of. Maybe we should have been aware of them.
Listen, it's a learning experience for us. Again, thank you to those members of our page who have been here and supported us. And It's our job to bring it to you one way or the other. And if we don't do it right, it's our job to own up to it.
Correct it. Absolutely.
So I own up to this. And like I said, again, I stress the fact that Ron, again, like most of the stuff that goes on in Detect America, he is like this. He's kind of like the silent partner that's there. He didn't know any of this. He had nothing to do with it. And like I said, the idea of the show was me. The way the show went was kind of led by me, and therefore it was me.
Yeah, we got a story. We got a story we wanted, and from someone we know, and we aired it. And again, our error was not looking at the other side of it.
Yep, that's all. So I want to thank everybody again. And like I said, we're going to end this, and it's going to be put behind us.
Yeah,
that's all. So, Ronnie, you want to say thank you?
Well, thank you guys for straightening this out. I know it created a lot of turmoil amongst a lot of people. Hopefully, we made it clear that it was honestly a mistake, and hopefully we patched everything up with everybody. And we do apologize for any misunderstanding that we may have had.
Absolutely.
Again, it is different for us guys that don't hunt DIV. The whole concept of working in a team is a new concept to the type of hunting that we do. And we do understand you guys make the rules on how to divvy up your finds when you work in a group. None of us are familiar with that. So thanks for watching.
Good learn. Yeah.
Hope everything is all good now with everyone. I think
that's it. So we'll say thank you and good night.
Good night.
See you guys.